Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Chrono Trigger. In the last part, we defeated the Ocean Palace and got a winged epoch after defeating Dalton, but we also kind of lost Crono.
He sort of died.
So,
it was sad. He sacrificed himself.
So now we're just talking to everyone in Antiquities that's around now, because now everyone kind of has to work together. But apparently, as someone said, I forget who said it, apparently someone's waiting for us at the Northern Cape. So let's go check that out. Hello? Anybody here? Oh, it's shiny. Oh.
Hello, sir.
Well, we actually never learned how exactly he got out of there, aside from Scala doing her thing.
You were a different person then?
Megas used to be a resident of Zeal. Oh, and I guess these are the three sages. Melchior's there, as we saw. There's
You mean the
Balthazar.
Three Stooges?
Nah, that's Final Fantasy VI. But who's that third one? I guess that would be Gaspar. We've never seen him before in any form, I think.
Gaspar.
Bye, Melchior.
Doesn't something about Gaspar look somewhat familiar to you?
Yeah, there is something about him. But I can't place my what's the term? I can't place my finger on it. There we go.
It's
But
on the tip of my tongue.
And Yanis got warped too. That didn't happen with us. And there's a reason for that, but I'll go over that in a few moments.
Yeah, that was one thing that didn't make sense to me at first.
That Melchior's in our time. I guess that explains how we got there. Balthazar's in 2300, as we know, and...
What?
That background looks familiar.
This is...
Hey? This must be the end of time.
He's the old man!
Yeah, Yanis
600,
Ozzy.
what? Ozzy.
And what they don't exactly tell us right now is that Yanis quickly dispatches those three imps. If you haven't figured it out by this point, Magus is Yanis, all grown up and shit. And the entire reason he was trying to summon Lavos back in, 600? Was so he could get revenge for destroying his kingdom.
And taking Scala away from him.
Yeah, oh, and I forget if I mentioned it last part, I may have. We're never seeing Scala again in this game, folks. That's the last time we see her.
Cry.
Which, well, it is in the Super Nintendo version. DS has some other stuff.
Can you not insult Crono, please?
Do I want to fight you? Yeah, you're kind of a dick. But it wouldn't really do much. Zeal's gone, Scala's gone, Chrono's gone. No real use fighting you.
Everything is dead. Including my soul.
Later, dickwad. What? Now you're telling us to wait? Come with us.
What?
What?
Treachery!
There might be a way to bring him... What? Gaspar, the Guru of Time, should know. Well, I guess we have a hint of where to go for him. Ladies and gentlemen, Magus has joined our party. This is one of the first times I can ever think in any RPG where a villain joined your party. And I love it. Magus, in terms of class, devout black mage. He has access to all three elemental elements. And he also has access to Shadow on its own.
Elements.
He is very powerful in terms of his Shadow elemental attacks. However, they take a lot of tech points in order to get all the way open. So it basically comes down to, do you want to invest the time into getting all his stuff?
In which Kyle would say
I think
yes.
it's worth it. Yes. Magus has always been one of my favorite party members, actually. But now that we have him, Alphador actually recognizes him somehow. There's a good 30 years added to his face, but yeah, it's a good kitty.
Kitten.
As Magus said, we should go check with Gaspar, but oh god, enormous gate. Not like that's exactly what happened when we beat Magus the first time.
This song is great.
Do you see something in the water there?
It's wavy.
It's like a wavy.
I see electricity. That doesn't look good. Fish are dying right now.
Wavy in an ocean. That's very specific.
I'm sorry.
Now,
I tried.
Now we're in the ending of that one phase of Artanelical Melody of Alemia. What the? Airship?
Do-do-do-do. It's a great
That looks
song.
exactly like... Yeah, I love this song. That looks exactly like the Undersea Palace. And ladies and gentlemen, that right there, they never actually refer to it in name in a cutscene, at least for not for a while, is the Black Omen. That's essentially the game's last major dungeon. You can tackle it right now if you want, but I want to follow that lead on Chrono that Magus had, so let's go check out the End of Time. One thing I actually do like, though, is that each character has their own liftoff name for the epoch, or line.
Spacchio.
And now I'm just showing this off with Specchio. As I said, Ayla can't learn magic because she was born before it existed. And he respects Magus because he could teach him some stuff. Which really just points towards how actually strong Magus is, considering he was born in the time of magic. How you doing, old guy?
It's Gaspar.
Yeah, it's already obvious because as he said, and if you just look at the sprite, it's obviously him. And now, for some reason, Memories of Chrono plays, which is Marl's theme. And I just wonder, how the hell is he playing this music?
There's probably a music box somewhere that he got.
Maybe it's his hat. Actually, where did he get the hat?
It was on his head the whole time, was it not? No, it wasn't.
He had a different hat. I guess maybe the End of Time, everything and nothing exists at the same time, so he could just drag shit in to make this entire little platform.
Well, I mean, if there's the Pillars of Light, he could always just visit them anytime he wanted to, right? And just go shopping?
Yeah. But he says Crono would be glad to have friends like us, but he does have one last thing to say to us. He's going to give us this. A Magicite. This is the Chrono Trigger. Essentially, if we take this to the one who made the epoch, we may learn some things about this, but it has the potential to get us back Chrono. So let's go check out Balthazar. And now they realize it's Gaspar. I always figured they had more in plan for Gaspar in the story, but they just couldn't make it happen.
I feel like this game definitely had a lot of really good opportunities for story significance for a lot of different characters, but they already had a lot of stuff going on, so I think how it is fine. Except for that one side dungeon that I wish was a thing.
Yeah. And as Balthazar's New is telling us, we need to go to Death Peak with a Chrono Trigger with a clone identical to the person in order to get Chrono back. But we don't have a way to get a clone except for Nullstein Beckler. That name might sound familiar to you. Why? Well, let's head back to the Carnival. You might remember Norstein Beckler. It's a typo. I'm not sure which one's the correct spelling. But that's why there are 3 games here. I showed you the Pick the Right Soldier. I showed you the Rescue the Maiden. I didn't show one game to you, though, and that is the clone minigame. Essentially, you have to match your movements with the clone by pressing certain buttons in time with it. And the way that this works is to get this clone, you can outright just fail right off the bat and have to pay a lot of money for it. Or you can keep going as long as you can to reduce the price further and further until it's actually free.
I was never good at this minigame. I always just paid the money since money's really easy to get in this game. At this point, anyway.
I've done that too, but I wanted to be skilled for this playthrough, so why not try and get it the best I could? And I actually do end up getting it for free. You could do this game earlier, but I think you actually miss out on some lines of dialogue by doing that.
You miss out on what?
I think by doing this game earlier, you actually miss out on a line of dialogue learning about the location of the cloning thing, because you'll already have the clone at that point.
I don't know, actually. I didn't really test that out. I know I've gotten the clone early. I just never paid attention to the dialogue.
Yeah, and I think you can also get clones of other characters, but it's really not worth doing at all.
You can. It's more of a joke, though. Definitely more for
although
fun.
I wouldn't mind having a giant Robo plushie. And somehow he gets the crone over to Clono's house.
Clonos?
Gotta love verbal stuff like that. Oh, hi, Chrono's mom. We haven't seen you in
Also,
about...
the fact that this song plays here is kind of significant.
Yeah. This is actually, I think, the only other time that Chrono's mom is important to the storyline in terms of dialogue. Because the last time she had any real lines, I want to say it was like part 8? Earlier, even?
I'm not sure.
You'd think she'd have more lines about what you're doing, like you would tell her what's going on because, you know, she's your mother, but you never really do anything with that.
Also, like, I feel like the mother is a tad unrealistic. Just a tad.
Yeah, because she's all accepting to everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Mind you, I guess you can just write off RPG Mother, not really anything to worry about, but still. Either way, I came back to 65 million before going over to Death Peak, because at this point in the game, ruby armors are available here at the trading post. And to get them, you need about 10 of each item. So I'm going to be in a moment going up to the hunting grounds and getting 60 of each item to get 6 ruby armors.
But you can charm ruby armors from other things.
Yeah. I'm getting one for everyone but Luca. And now there's a new here. And this new allows you to change whoever's in the lead of your party's name. So if you didn't want to rename someone, you can. After doing this, you also get a silver rock, which, as with the other rocks, allows you to do a triple tech.
He's basically naming way.
Yeah, actually. Not DS naming way, though, because naming way in DS was completely different.
Well, yeah.
Because voice acting.
Voice acting?
Yeah, 4DS has voice acting for the cutscenes, so they couldn't have naming way change your name, so he has a giant side quest chain going for him.
Gross.
It's actually pretty interesting. It actually helps boost this one
Rainbow
Summer
Pudding makes me scream.
Anyway, now I got those ruby armors, as I said before. There's one for everyone except Luca.
And I usually don't care about finishing the maps, ever. So...
Yeah.
Huh?
Now that we have that, either way, yeah, I don't really care about doing the maps either. So now we have the clone identical, and now that we have that, we came back to Balthazar's new, and he's gonna have this new perform its last program function. Send out 3-ish blue
Polyozo dolls thingies.
Polyozo dolls, that's it. Which is a really odd last duty. You think he could have just sent these out to begin with.
So,
but I think I know why they didn't do that in terms of railroading.
So is this creature organic? Kyle once asked me. I actually started debating this for a while, and I was thinking, like, it has a switch, so therefore it can't be organic. But maybe it has a switch that...
Cyborg.
That, like, flicks something.
It could be a cyborg kind of thing. And the reason he's saying that is... Balthazar's last request is to turn that creature off. We essentially just ended that thing's life. It's never going to wake up again. Unless you flip the switch again, I'm assuming.
You can't flip the switch again.
I meant in realism terms. If you were to maybe flip it again, you could probably turn it back on. Which I always found that pretty kind of chilling. I don't know why.
Also, can I just say how much I really like the 2380 soundtrack here?
Yeah, I love it. It's nice and eerie. And now we're moving on to Death Peak. I came here once earlier in the game to get a tab, but now we're actually going to progress in this place. These Polyozo dolls create trees, which allow you to then not get blown away by the wind. Unless the game's a dick to you like that.
Haha.
Whenever you're at one of these trees, I don't recommend holding the run button. Just walk behind it, because otherwise you might accidentally hold to the right just slightly and get blown backwards because of that. Well, I have to admit, really detailed tree sprites.
I wish the game was more... I feel like this would have been a great place to play that one song.
I think I know what song you're talking about, and I can agree, but I can see why they also went for the atmospheric approach with just the wind.
Okay, well, maybe at least for the summit.
Yeah, I can see that one too. Either way, first enemy for the part is a Cracker. 500 HP, 378 XP, 8 TP, 300 gold, and they absorb HP from you.
You are very casually making me hungry with those Cracker references.
Now I'm kind of hungry for some rich sandwiches. Ooh. They're really easy. Wow, actually, that's one thing. Sometimes layer effects happen like that. Because you saw it there, the screen cleared up when Luca used her bomb attack because the game needed that one layer that the snowstorm is on to do the bomb effect. Super Nintendo limitations.
It's wonderful.
We love you. Death Peak, though, I know why they had the trees there, because there are a few enemies here that if you're underleveled could really, really kill you really quickly. But I kind of wish you had the ability to come here earlier just to get some of the treasure, kind of like you did with Pterodactyl Peak.
Yeah. To be fair, even for that point, the monsters aren't that hard.
Yeah.
Okay, next enemy is called a Macabre. 582 HP, 427 XP, 8 TP, 500 gold. You can charm a high ether from him, which is 60 MP recovery, and they drop ethers. They can also make your HP drop to 1. I've only seen that attack once, but it sucks.
Yeah, it's a very rare attack. Let's put it like this. I didn't know they could do it until this playthrough, but it can be annoying.
There's one version of that attack where it attacks the whole party, and that's probably the worst thing I've ever seen.
Wait, which enemy does that?
A certain person who shall not be named at the moment.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about. Whoa, what the
And
hell
also,
is this?
and also Specchio can use it.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Lavos has babies!
Ah.
The Lavos spawn is set up into two sections, the mouth and the shell. The mouth, which is the thing you should be attacking, has 4,000 HP, 747 XP, 120 tech points, 500 gold, and you can charm and it drops an elixir. You have the shell, Ken.
Oh yeah. So the shell has 10,000 HP, 253 defense, and 100 magic defense, and it's immune to all elements. So don't attack it, because it also counterattacks with a devastating move, and it's basically invincible. So there you go.
Yeah, never attack the shell. It's possible to kill the shell, but I don't recommend it. My base strategy for this guy is almost always to use Red Pin with Luca and Frog, because it does a good amount of damage, and have Magus physically attack.
One of the best...
If you have Robo...
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. I was just going to say you can use Ice Tackle if you have Robo and Marl instead.
It's kind of like the Welk and those kind of enemies in 6. Like at the very beginning of the game where it's like, don't attack the shell or else you'll get attacked by a super strong thunder attack.
Yeah, kind of. Speaking of which, did you ever get the, there was another version of the Welk kind of line later on in the game. It's like, one that has a treasure chest in its mouth.
Yeah.
Did you ever, in the tomb, did you ever get 2 of those items from him?
2 of them?
Yeah, you can get 2 of that item
the
from
Dragon
him.
Claw? Or whatever that is?
Yes, you need to kill the shell and the snail simultaneously. It's possible, but it's really hard. Either way, we got the Brave Blade. The room that we're in right now, or at least when we were inside the cave, has all sorts of new weapons for people. The Brave Blade in particular, I'm going to mention this again later on. I know for a fact I do. You want to keep around for a New Game Plus, because Frog's ultimate weapon is a plot important one, and thus you will not have it upon starting a New Game Plus. Oh god, another one. I'm speeding this up because it's the same fight, but it's still technically a boss fight.
That sounds...
The love...
This totally sounds like something that comes out of Fire Emblem 3. I don't know why.
I hear a bit of one particular song, and I can't remember the name of what the game it's from. X5. It sounds like the X5 boss theme ever so slightly when it's sped up. And it's dead. You do have to fight a couple of Lavos spawns in this area. There's a total of 3, but they're all the same. So, yeah. And this one gives us advice. It's slippery falling, you have to start over. I think you fall down to that giant area with the save point when you fall down here?
Yes. Yes, you
basically just hold up, and if you want to progress upwards, run. It's not a very hard area, but it is annoying if you fall.
I get it on my first try, usually.
Yeah.
Also, not all the spawns are the same.
Yeah, also, that bunch of crackers I just found, I think there was an endless amount of them. I'm not entirely sure about that.
Are you sure?
But it's really good for tech points. I think there's an endless amount, unless they just loop the same 8.
There is as long as you zone. If that's what you meant.
Yeah, because I think they loop like the same 8 or 9. And then we get a Dark Helm. That is a decent upgrade for Magus, if I recall. So we're going to give that to him. Magus actually doesn't have that much of his exclusive equipment. I think you can actually get his ultimate equipment as soon as you get him.
Yeah.
And we'll be doing that soon enough. And it's time for another one.
This one is...
this one in particular.
Yeah. Go ahead.
This one in particular. Do not, if you're doing the thing where you want to kill the shell for some stupid reason, don't. Because if you kill this thing's shell, you cannot progress in the game. We need this shell to be here. So, go for the face. Why? Because it stays there, and we can push it. And we need to do that in order to climb this rock wall. Either way, say that thing you were going to say earlier.
Oh, I mean, that was exactly it.
Okay. My bad.
Yeah, you're the player, man.
I'm the designated LP'er. I missed that treasure chest. Go back.
Oh, yeah.
I think this is a memory cap. Yeah, it is. Huh, I could have used that earlier. And here we are. Also, I brought Marl into my
Kyle,
party
you're so
for
silly.
plot reasons. I know I am. Fun fact, something I didn't realize until recently, but Death Peak is actually where Lavos landed and came out of the ground. This is the exact area where he's been the entire time.
I didn't
Which
know
means
that
that in order to get Crono back from Lavos, we need to go to where he is in the first place, or where he was, because he's gone at this point. So let's hope that this Chrono Trigger works. Oh, damn it.
Why did you break? Now we're never gonna get our beloved buddy back.
I knew I should have gotten that protection policy from GameStop.
Why didn't we get a warranty on that thing?
I don't know. The extra $5 just did not seem relevant.
But 5 gold! You can get that by beating up a mushroom.
Actually, what would be the equivalent from gold to dollars?
That's a good question. Considering you can get them from literally
What?
anything, I would assume it's very inflated.
That's an eclipse. Oh, this is poorly timed. Wait, what? We're back here? I guess the Chrono Trigger worked after all. But time's frozen here. But Chrono's here, so let's grab him.
Grab him!
And I actually like this idea. The thing is, as they're going to reveal, this entire time Chrono never died. Or at least he did in probably the first timeline, but not here. Essentially, we used the clone and put it where Chrono was, and we grabbed Chrono and brought him back to the future with us. So Chrono never died at all, just the fact that time travel is weird.
Well, I mean, that's the whole point.
And that actually goes into something I was talking about earlier, how there was something about this plot that's a bit odd. You might notice that we never saw the 3 sages when Lavos went to the Undersea Palace. That's because there's technically 2 timelines in this game. The one where we did not interfere with time travel and the one where we did. The one where we did is what we play as, but the one that we didn't is essentially what happened before we interfered with the timeline.
That makes sense.
It's weird and confusing, but it's pretty interesting. He's alive!
Also, this background is amazing.
I love this background, and I love this moment. Aww.
Marl's theme is great, but there's one theme in particular that really, really gets me, and I think you know which one it is, and it's not that one.
Yeah, I do. I love that sprite. Fun little facts. If you don't have Marl in your party and you have Luca instead, she does the hug thing because it's hinted throughout the game very slightly that Luca has a thing for Crono as well. And if you don't have either of them, if you have Magus, Robo, and Frog, I want to say they just basically say, hey, welcome back, bro, let's go save the world. But I love that scene.
I love
Makes
that.
me cry every time. There's very few moments in games that actually make me get kind of really, really teary-eyed. That's one of them. But now, time for one of my favorite sections of the game. Now the entire world opens up to us.
And also, Chrono's not a mandatory character.
Yeah, now you don't have to have him in your party. He's optional now. First off, the Wings of Time came back here on its own. Essentially, now we can go in any path we want. We can go conquer the final boss right now. I don't recommend it. We can go to the Black Omen and do that entire that entire part of the plot. Or we can do this game's side quests. There's about 6, 7, 8, somewhere in that number, maybe 9. And a lot of them are character relevant. And it's at this point, they all open up. Some of them were open up slightly by this point, like you might have noticed in the desert in 600, there was that hole there. But now they're all open. Ozzy's doing some shit. Robo has some stuff to solve. It's actually a very interesting part of the game because now the world's your oyster. Do what you want.
This is definitely my favorite part of the game right here, where you have everything just is ready for you. You can take on the whole world.
There's very few games I play where I go for every side quest every time. That in terms of RPGs, in that list, there's only really Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy IX, and whenever I play it, 5.
For me, that's Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI, and that's it.
And we're actually going to do one right now. Remember that desert that's been haunting us this entire game? The desert's being haunted by monsters, and in order for this plant to grow, we need to go and do stuff with that. I'm bringing in Magus, Frog, and Ayla for this side quest, mostly just because every monster in this area is similar to the Reptites in the fact that in order for their defenses to be lowered to a reasonable level, you need to hit them with a water-type attack, which is why I have Frog and Magus.
I thought
they
that
both
was
have
only
water.
significant to the sand monsters, but maybe I'm thinking differently.
I think it's every monster. I'm just doing it to be safe. Plus, I want to get Ayla some more tech points towards her techs. Because I want to have, I think it's the triple kick one by the time I'm at the boss
There's someone
fight.
in my marching band named Ilia, and her name is spelled the exact same way. So it can be Ayla or Ilia, since I've met 2 people with the same exact spelling and 2 different pronunciations.
Is she blonde?
One of them is.
Huh. Either way, here we basically have the only 2 enemies in this entire area. Starting off with the hexapods. 1000 HP, 192 defense, 408 XP, 15 TP, 600 gold. They drop a lapis, and you can charm a barrier from them.
These are Mohavers, which are souped up things from the sewer access. 400 HP, 100 defense, 348 XP, 15 TP, and 550 gold, and you can charm a shield. You can get a lot of tech points down here.
Yeah, there's like 11 encounters in this one room, and I do like getting them all because I want to get Ayla as close as possible, if not getting triple kick. I'd rather get it, but things happen. This is actually this actually might be the shortest side quest in the game in terms of what you have to do, because you can accomplish most of it throughout the game.
I'd have to, well, not disagree, because you know you only have to fight a boss, but there's one side quest where you literally go through the smallest dungeon in the whole game.
Yeah. And now let's see if I got triple kick. Nope. Are you
What?
really?
That's
Oh man! Can you believe it?
Basically one away.
There!
crap.
I hated that.
Well, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Why don't you just go outside and fight one of those
I did.
goblin thingies?
I did.
Oh.
I was just really pissed because I wanted to get it done in this area.
Oh.
And that's the boss fight. But I don't recommend doing it yet, because I believe upon completing this area, I don't think you're forced right out, but I think if you leave, you can't come back in. So you want to grab all the stuff that's in here, because there's some good stuff, a good amount of money, some decent items.
Once you beat the boss, you cannot go back in.
Yeah, okay, good. Okay, good. Thanks for confirming that. And also, I should mention, in terms of my accessories, Megas has the gold stud. Wow, that's really weirdly laid out. It's not really important. You probably saw them earlier. Either way, here's the boss fight, which is the thing you really need to have water for so you can take out the defenses. This is Retinite, which is split into 3 parts. The core, the upper, and the lower. The core has 1000 HP, no magic defense, 1600 XP, 60 TP, 2000 gold. It'll absorb thunder, shadow, and fire, and it's immune to aqua. You want to charm from it first to get the speed tab. And the lower has 4800 HP, 250 defense, 65 magic defense, 500 XP, 20 TP, immune to all elements, and it'll absorb your HP.
The upper part is probably the most annoying one. 5000 HP, 250 defense, 65 magic defense, 500 XP, and 20 TP, immune to every single element, and can blind or absorb HP. Although I think it absorbs HP from the core.
Yes. I do believe that. The way you want to start off this fight is with a water elemental attack so you can actually do damage to everything without having absurd defense. You want to charm the core from the speed tab as I did, then you want to, if you have Robo, use Uzi Punch against it, and then follow by having Ayla attack the top with triple kick, and Robo use the bottom. Magus is someone you always want to have for this fight so you can have someone who can do good magic attacks on the side. Whenever you're below 400 HP heal, you can also bring in Marl, so you can just use Ice too and such. But I generally have Robo and Frog and Ayla for this because I forget the name of this dual tech, but it's one of the best ones in the game for this fight.
But you just used it.
Yeah, that's what I just said. You want to use it because it's one of the best tech.
No, but
dual
you
techs
forgot
in
the
game.
name and you literally just used it.
I was looking at the Word document where I have my strategy written down. Dual kick. There we go. No, drop kick. I'm bad.
Me too, though.
There are a good amount of strategies you can take at this point, and since you can completely customize your party as much as you want, you can take any strategy you wanted. I always do this, but people do otherwise as well.
This is one of the only boss fights where I use more often 3 single techs, because they're not all like elemental attacks, and if they're physical, like I usually like to have Ilia, Crono, and Frog for this one because they're very physical. They're all very physical, but Frog can use water attacks, so that's good.
Although one thing you really want to do, the core does run away if you take too long, and I'm not sure if it runs away if you still get the stuff from it. Either way, let's go back to Fiona because now we're done with this area. We never need to come back here. And good riddance, because honestly, this area I hated as a kid. This used to be one of the last side quests I tackled. Hey, Fiona. It's going to take a while to revive the forest, but we can do it. And Robo is volunteering to stay behind and help because, you know, he's a robot. He's immortal. And now if you actually are always in the... Whenever you're at the desert in this time period, you'll see Robo doing a few different animations. And how about you say we just go back and see how he's doing in 1000? Well, there's a forest here now. A pretty impressive one, too.
Pretty.
This is the Fiona Shrine. Robo is actually apparently here and remains, but also for doing the side quest, this shop opens up which has
Vigil hats.
Which protects you from status elements and gives you obviously some defense on its own. It is my favorite, well, one of my favorite headpieces in the game. I actually had to go back to the hunting grounds and get a few ruby armors to sell in order to afford as many as I got. I think I got 6 of them. No, 4 of them. And here's the remains of Robo. Looking kind of rusted.
Poor guy. He worked so hard.
How you doing? And this is actually one of my favorite concepts in the game. Because for us, it's been about 2-3 minutes, probably.
But for Robo, it's
for
been
him,
400 years.
It's been 400 years.
Yeah.
And I like that plot point for a few different reasons. First off, just the idea of that time flow going. But also because that means Robo's had a lot of time to think about what's going on. And this is, we're kind of just glazing over the text here. But this is some of the more thoughtful text in the game in terms of what's going on.
I definitely choose this side quest, not really for the reward, but because of the appeal it has to me as a player.
Yeah. And it also goes into one of the things I really like about this game's side quests. A good number of them are related to at least one of the characters. The only ones that really don't get one are probably Ilia and Crono.
Which is really sad, because if Ilia had a side quest, it would be really, really cool, I think.
Yeah, they wouldn't be really able to do one for Crono. Well, actually, I guess the one for Crono was getting him back. But essentially, this game uses side quests in a good way. They're very low in number, but because of that, they're high quality ones, because not only do they have some interesting gimmicks to them, but because every single one that's related to a character adds to that character's development. Robo's had some time to think, and he's had a lot of stuff going on for him. And this also glazes into Luca a bit here, as we're going to see. Because you may remember, way back when in like part 2 or so, maybe even part 1, we checked out Luca's house. You remember how her mother was completely out of it and disabled because her legs didn't work? This red gate's going to show us how that happened.
It's really scary how most gates are blue, but then there's 2 really special ones, one being green and this one being red.
Yeah, and I never understood exactly why. The Robo kind of went into it earlier. First off, we're 10 years in the past now. We're back in Luca's house. This is the day that, if you were reading something earlier in the game, that her mother had the accident. And it goes kind of into... Well, first off, the password is the name of Taban's wife. Keep that in mind for a few moments from now. Robo slightly went into it. That there might be some sort of god watching over, helping us get through it. Which is, I guess, kind of a way to say that, hey, the player's awesome and such. But I also think it's hinting towards there being a greater power at work in total. Which they get somewhat into in Chrono Cross. And this is how Luca's mom got into the accident. This thing dragged her in and destroyed her legs. The password is her name, Lara, L-A-R-A. On the PlayStation, that's L1 triangle, R1 triangle, I believe.
Why not X?
Because does X look like an A to you?
That's fair. But like the confirm button, I guess.
Yeah. That took me a while to realize my first playthrough, because I expected like a text pad to come up or something. But now we prevented the entire accident from happening. And this does have some effects on the present, as we'll see. So we'll see that probably next
Some
part.
effects? I thought it was just the one.
Well, you get items for it, obviously. That's why I count multiple. And doing that's fine and dandy and all, but apparently Robo was watching that all happen somehow. But we also get a piece of amber that he created from a tree in the forest. I don't think you get this if you fail at the mom thing.
You do.
You get the green dream. Okay, you do? Okay, cool. You get the green dream. That is an accessory that acts as auto life. If a character's equipped with it and dies in battle, they come back with, I think, half HP?
I
Some amount of
don't
HP.
know. I mean, my characters don't normally die anyway, so...
Yeah, neither do mine, but it's useful all the same. But with that, we're going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 14, we're going to be going after a lot more side quests. See you guys
Then.
then.